Welcome today. Today we're talking travel. I'm your girl Tamara, and this is Connie.
Hey, Tamara.
Hey, Connie. Today our topic, our subject, our place, our destination is Page, Arizona. Now, I got to tell you, Connie, I have heard about your trip to Page. I thought it was incredible, and we wanted to share with you all today.
Absolutely.
So, I've never been there.
Okay.
And so I have some questions.
All right. Let's go.
Okay. So Page, Arizona is known the Great Southwest Adventureland. Does that sound about
Yes,
right?
it does.
Wonderful. I heard it's a town of 7,500 people or so. About 74 degrees, so good weather. 2 hours ahead of Central Standard Time Zone. Yeah, we'll figure that out a little later. So how does one get to Page, Arizona?
There are lots of ways to get to Page. You can, of course, if you want to do a cross-country drive, go for it. I'm going to fly. So you can fly into Denver, grab your car, drive to Page. You can fly into Las Vegas and drive to Page. I personally flew into Flagstaff because it's much closer.
Right.
Smaller airport, rent a car, and there you are in Page.
Wonderful. So how far from Flagstaff to Page?
It's about a 2-hour drive.
2-hour drive. Wonderful. So sightseeing on that adventure, is there lots to see?
You know, it is, because you think you're driving through kind of a desert-like area. You're getting to that red rock, that red
The
rock
beautiful red
valleys
rocks.
and mountains. So it's just a beautiful drive.
Yes. Wonderful. Okay, I can't wait to go. What do I see or experience in Page?
You experience this nature, this wonderland of nature. You see different things. The other thing that you get to experience is the Navajo Nation. Because Page sits adjacent to the Navajo Nation. So a lot of the things that you see in the Page, Arizona area, you are going to need to have a Navajo guide because you're actually going on Navajo land.
Wow.
So the thing that you have to be remember is in some of the areas we need to be very respectful of that Navajo nation and their beliefs and the things that they hold sacred.
And that is a great tip. One of the things we have to remember while traveling is that we're not traveling to our home. We're traveling to a place that's different.
Right.
It may have different rules and different ordinances and different culture than what we're used to. So that is
Exactly.
a wonderful tip.
Exactly.
I actually have never heard that in all my research about Page. Imagine that. Only here, you guys. Okay, so you're on this trek into going into Page, and you have to get a Navajo guide to help you out. How does one get the guide?
The guide is usually dependent upon what you're going to see. So
Okay.
if it is a landmark or something that you're going to visit, take a tour, you will know whether or not you need a Navajo guide because most of them are, conducted by someone from the Navajo community.
Wonderful.
Not everything needs it, but there are definitely certain places that will be.
Okay, that is wonderful. I did not know that. I'm so excited about that. So let's get into the meat and potatoes
Okay.
of Page.
Okay.
We know we need a guide, which is a great experience amongst itself and a great way to make new friends and learn about what the culture and environment is. But what is Page, Arizona known for?
Page, Arizona is known for 3 or 4 key things. One of them is Horseshoe Bend. It is absolutely breathtaking.
Yes.
It is a place that is free, so there is no entry fee. There is a parking fee now, just because of the popularity has gained. So you have parking. You don't need a guide. The beauty of Horseshoe Bend is it is a sandstone structure with the Colorado River going around it. And
Gorgeous.
the Colorado River is what has carved that out. It is a little bit of a hike or a walk from the parking area. It's about a half a mile to actually get to the edge of Horseshoe Bend. You need to be careful when you get to the edge because of the rocks and the sandstone and the fact that it is a thousand foot drop down from the top to the Colorado River. But it's something. It's one of those places that pictures don't do it justice.
Right.
I mean, it piques your curiosity, but the beauty is seeing it for yourself. There are tours that you can get from some places that you can kayak around the structure itself. We just visited from the top.
Wow, that's incredible. You all have seen the pictures everywhere. You may not have known what the name was or where it was located in the USA.
Absolutely.
So a lot of people have told me that they didn't know how much amazement is available right in the United States.
Exactly.
Would you say Horseshoe Bend in Page, Arizona is one of those top places?
It is.
Yes.
It very much is. You know, not only do you have Horseshoe Bend, you have what they call the slot canyons.
Okay.
The slot canyons are for the most part underground. They are formed by the wind and the air and the erosion of the sandstone. They're slots because there are slots in the openings in the top where the sunlight comes down. Most of the slot canyons are on Navajo ground, so this would be a case of where you would need that Navajo guide. They are phenomenal. One of the upper canyons, the two most popular ones is the Upper Antelope and the Lower Antelope. The Upper Antelope is at ground level, meaning you just walk into it.
Okay.
Once you get in there, it is really hard to describe. We'll share some pictures and some video clips with you so that you can see for yourself. But it's smooth sandstone. The light coming through makes different images almost. And the way it's been carved, you can look and see things like, oh, that looks like a heart shape. So it's very, very nice. Now, Lower Antelope Canyon is a little more strenuous when it comes to hiking because you do have to take a ladder down into the canyon. It's a little more narrow passages as you go through there, but it's equally as beautiful. You know, and they monitor them really close because rain upstream could cause a flash flood in the canyons. So they are very conscious of the weather and the potential weather. And if there's any potential bad weather, then they will not do the tour just because you don't want to get caught 60 foot underground and have to go up a ladder to try to get out because it's raining.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah.
Sounds like for adventure. This is adventure, y'all. We gotta do something different.
It really is, and that's one of the ones because you do have the Navajo guide. At least the tour that we took, prior to the tour, you get to experience and interact with some of the Navajo natives, and they do a lot of their dancing and a lot of their ceremonies for you. The guide we had was absolutely priceless. He would tell us where to take the best pictures. He would do things like when we got to the part where the sun was shining through, he would make sure he would take sand and toss it up in the air because it gave a completely different, angle on it. And apparently I wasn't taking pictures correctly, so he took my camera from me and took my pictures for me.
I love that. I love the guided photographs as well. He's the photographer and the guide. Not really. That was a joke, you all. But that's someone that absolutely loves what they do and loves sharing with others about their community. And we really enjoy that always. So we have Antelope Canyon, we have Horseshoe Bend, and what else do we have?
We have Rainbow Bridge.
Okay.
It's a national monument. We deemed it a national monument years ago. It is, depending on which tribe you talk to, the story behind Rainbow Bridge and why it's called that. But one of the things is it is one of the largest natural bridges in the United States. Okay. And it's shaped like a rainbow. So the beauty of it is you see the rainbow arch from each side of the bridge. So depending on what angle you look at, you still see a rainbow.
That's beautiful.
It is very sacred ground for our Native Americans. They used to bring gifts there, do prayers there. So out of respect to the land, when you do go there, they ask that you do not walk under the bridge because that's even more sacred. So there's several stories as to why the bridge was formed, from their history. But it again is a beautiful place. You can take a boat ride to it, which is probably the easiest way to get to it. But you have Rainbow Bridge. You also have If you're a fan of dams, you have the Glen Canyon Dam, which powers that area.
Okay.
It is the second largest concrete dam in the United States.
Wow.
And in the construction of Glen Canyon Dam, they formed Lake Powell. So Lake Powell is like a resort, of course, on the lake. They have a marina. They have a facility, a lodge to stay there. That's personally where I stayed, was at the lodge at Lake Powell. And then you can rent boats, you can rent jet skis, you can go fishing and things like that from Lake Powell.
Wow, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I'm so excited about going, y'all, and getting these great tidbits of information. If you're getting some good information, like, comment, and subscribe. Tell us your experience in Page, Arizona, or your desire to visit. Tell us more about what you think about this. So let's go further. Is there, with this being, Page, Arizona being mostly outdoors, is there a better time of year to go versus not?
For me, I like going in the summertime.
Okay.
I think it would depend upon how adverse you are to heat and bright sun. You know, it's open 24 hours, 7 days a week, you know, year round. So the temperature is such that you can visit any of these places anytime. For me, it just works better to do like either the spring or the fall.
Okay.
But the climate is comfortable either way.
So a great spring break trip.
A great spring break trip.
So how many days do we need to see the lake, the Antelope Canyon, and everything that's, not everything, but the most desirable things that Page, Arizona has to offer?
I would book at least 3 days.
Okay.
And I say that so that you can have some, you don't rush. You're not rushing through, even though the canyon tours, they are set at a certain time and a length, but still you don't want to rush through these things. You want to be able to appreciate it. And, you know, you want to be rested, you know, so that you can enjoy, you know, doing the canyon, you know, walk isn't as easy as it could be.
Okay.
So, you know, so you want to make sure you're rested so that you fully enjoy it and you take your time. So I would do 3 days. There are other things closer to Page that you could definitely branch out and see as well. So if you wanted to spend a 7-day trip in the Page, Arizona and surrounding area things, I mean, there's plenty that you could fill that 7-day itinerary with.
I love it. I love it. So spring break or a week trip, fun with family, family friendly, all
Family
age
friendly.
groups. What about athleticism? Because we've talked about going through canyons and different things. Does one need to be athletic?
You don't need to be athletic per se, but for like the Lord Canyon, you need to be mobile. So you need to make sure you have good footing, and that I mean, it's not like a fast-paced tour through there, but it is a little more strenuous because you got to do the stairs down,
right?
And you have to do the stairs back up out of the canyon. You got to remember you're walking on sand down in the canyon, so you know you got to make
That's
sure
a great tip.
You know, somebody with sure footing,
right?
You know, you need to wear closed-toe shoes, no flip-flops. You know, maybe some hiking boots or some of the outdoor type of shoes, something that you can get good footing. And so I would say Lower Antelope Canyon, you need to be a little more physically adaptable.
Gotcha. Physically adaptable.
Upper Canyon it's a flat wall.
Gotcha.
But you still have the sand. Remember, you are in a slot that has been created by water and wind carving away sandstone.
Which is incredible.
It is incredible.
And definitely has to be seen. Whether you choose the upper or the lower, you want to see this. And it sounds like one is a little less advanced and the other is more advanced. So Connie can put this together for you based on your needs or your family's needs. So,
and for those photography buffs, they actually do have photo tours. So it's nothing but, it's just photography, photographers only.
Love
they give you
that.
the restrictions of what you can bring in, so they do have some specialized tours as well.
And that's for the gram. You know, you want to
Right.
not only experience vacation, but also have a record of vacation.
Right.
Now, I know some people are totally against that, but I think it's a great way to show friends, family, loved ones, co-workers, your community, what you've experienced, especially
Right.
when we're talking about natural formations. Natural, right here in the United States of
Exactly.
America. You do not
Exactly.
have to go too far to find great things. Okay, so you mentioned kind of what to pack, and we're really going to get into that because one of the things I've noticed is that sometimes with vacation, it takes a lot of research or a lot of questions to figure out what to pack, what not to pack, and we still may get it wrong.
Right.
The great thing about what we talk about here is we've experienced it
Exactly.
firsthand.
Exactly.
Okay, we do not talk about locations that we've never experienced.
Right.
One of us have experienced every location we discuss. And that's
Exactly.
really important.
It is.
We can't talk about travel and the experience of it without the experience.
Experience of
So, have you experienced travel agents? Experience. Okay. Back to our questions.
Right.
We talked about how many days we visit on the average.
Yes.
Where do we stay? What's the lodging like? You mentioned you stayed at.
I stayed at the marina, the resort at Lake Powell.
Okay.
That's a very good place to stay because it's kind of in the middle of everything.
Okay.
But if you're more of a hotel type person, then they do have, you know, your normal hotels available, Airbnbs. I just like being at the marina.
Right.
Because, you know, for me, in the evening, you're trying to rest, relax, and prepare for the next day. You can walk down to the marina, you know, and sit by the water. So I think there will be any type of accommodation to please whatever your need is on your comfort level of the type of place you'd like to stay.
Absolutely. And with us being on U.S. soil, we know U.S. travelers have different desires than international travelers may, and because of that, Page, Arizona can live up to that as well.
Exactly.
From a rustic kind of location all the way to a higher end
Right.
location,
Right.
as far as accommodations we can find. Okay, so once I'm in Page, Arizona, like, how am I getting around the city? How am I getting around from location to location?
I would suggest rental car.
Okay.
That way you aren't on anyone's timeline but you're on. You know,
Absolutely.
if you decide you want to spend a half a day at Horseshoe Bend, you can. It's very easy to get around that way.
Okay.
A lot of the tours, especially for the slot canyons, will have you meet at a location and then they actually transport you
That's good
to
to
the
know.
canyon.
Good to know.
Because again, I'm transporting you onto Navajo land,
Gotcha.
and I have
Okay.
to have that Navajo representative to get in.
Absolutely. Okay, that's wonderful. Okay, good tips, y'all. I've never heard of some of this stuff she's discussing. And we talked about this trip, but I wanted to save the details for this moment. So this is good information. So I'm a foodie. I'm a traveling foodie. Not only do I love travel, I love food and the experience that food brings. Where in Page, Arizona, where am I eating or what am I eating?
For me, on this trip, we ate at the marina.
Okay.
But within the town, again, there is probably food to meet everyone's needs. You know, you can have the local cuisine, you can have the normal chain that you see
Right.
everywhere.
Right. For those burger
I-
eaters.
Yeah, I mean, I try to at least go to something local at least one time. And lots of times when as you get on these trips and you meet some of the local people, you know, again, you talk to them and they will say, you know, the diner down the street may not look like it's much, but when you get in there, the food is fantastic.
Absolutely.
So yeah,
Absolutely.
so I think everyone will be able to find whatever they need.
And I think with a location, destination like Page, Arizona, there's so much abundance
Yes.
of everything
Thing.
else. Food becomes almost minimal. You start
It
utilizing
does.
that for nourishment instead of entertainment because there's a lot to see and
There's
do
a lot
here.
to see and do.
And that's a good thing.
It's a good
That's a good
thing.
thing. And I think you can never go bad going into the local areas on foot, downtown, those kind of areas,
Right.
and picking just something you've never heard about before and trying it out. And patronaging the actual local
Exactly.
restaurants and bars and those sorts of things. I'm sure Paige has it. They're too close to everything. Okay, so another fun part of travel is packing, that preparedness. Now,
Yes.
one of the two things we always want you to do is be prepared in your location, where you're going, the understanding of that, and also what to bring.
Right.
Because I personally think if you're not prepared, especially for a location like Paige, that can turn things kind of sour kind of quickly.
Right.
So what are some of the top things we absolutely must have to go to Paige successfully?
Good shoes.
Good shoes.
Good shoes, number one, because you're going to do as much hiking as you'd like to do. But
Okay.
because of the areas that you're going, you got to remember we're outside, we're in nature, and we're going to places that aren't necessarily cleansed every day by the roads and grounds crews.
Absolutely.
I mean, they have the trails, but they are naturally made trails. So you want to make sure that you have good outdoor hiking type shoes, something that, bring your flip-flops, bring your sandals, but that's for relaxing in the evening.
Right. Good tip.
You want to have a jacket. I would think layers, just because in the morning it may be a little bit cooler. But again, if you're going to hike a half a mile or a mile to your destination, is that going to get too hot for you? So lightweight jacket. I always have a backpack. Always have a backpack to carry my stuff in. It never hurts to have a rain umbrella. But if you're going to take a backpack, I would take something that's waterproof or water resistant, so that you can put your camera or whatever in and it's protected. Just think outside. Things that people probably don't think about sometimes is like sunscreen.
Sunscreen. Everyone needs it.
You're in the
sunscreen.
You're in the desert.
In the desert. Desert is normally meaning no real cloud cover or no foliage coverage.
Exactly.
So plants are very short in stature. So we have to make sure we protect our skin.
Yes.
Everyone needs sunscreen.
Yes.
Yes.
So and pack something that you can carry some things in. Like for instance, a snack. I mean, we were saying earlier, in a place like this, food for some may not be their top priority, but
Right.
you might want to eat light, so you still want to take you some snacks. You want to make sure you have water.
Right.
You're in the desert area; it's going to get hot. So make sure you have a water bottle that you can carry with you, water you can leave in the car. Maybe even like a portable collapsible cooler that you can take
Absolutely.
with you, and then you can stop at the local store, fill up with some ice and some water, your drinks, your Gatorades, or whatever in your cooler.
Yes, and I'm gonna pause you right there. That was all great tips. One of the bigger pet peeves with travel, in my opinion, is when we're traveling to a warm destination and we're not prepared.
Right.
And the complaint becomes, I'm hot.
Yes.
You're also on sacred ground in a beautiful location that you may never visit again. I'm hot cannot be the reason for being uncomfortable and unhappy.
Yes.
We have to prepare ourselves.
Yes.
Water is always key, making certain we have proper attire on,
Right.
making certain you're ready for the day. It's a limited time period that you're
Right.
there. Be ready. Be ready.
ready.
Yes, be smart and ready. Okay, so that was great tips on what to pack. I think we all got it. What is my budget range? We're gonna say for 4 days. So we rent a car. What should I be prepared for as far as financially making certain I get to see and do as much as I like? And just the range.
Your biggest cost, depending on where you're coming from, is probably going to be your flight
Absolutely.
and your rental car potentially. Those norms of the big price. I think you could go to Page, Arizona for 3 days for maybe for 2 people, maybe $2,500, $3,000.
Okay, so definitely budget friendly.
Budget
Doable.
friendly.
Yes.
Budget friendly, because a lot of these activities are outside. If you do the slot canyons, of course that's a tour, so you have a tour. They are not expensive tours. if you visit the dam, which you can do, you can take the tour there. They're still very budget-friendly tours.
Absolutely. So that's great. I mean, I think $2,500 is totally doable, especially lending that money back to the community in the United States, Page, Arizona.
Right.
I'm sure they're appreciative of that. And then showing you something that you'll never see anywhere else in the world. This is what I'm understanding.
Yes, I mean, it's such a marvel, and I think everyone that goes and sees it in person, when they stop and think and look at this and they go, wow, this was created just by wind and water, and the magnitude of that wind and water and the time that it took to create that, I think you're going to be in awe of it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's a great note. So one of the things that's always important to me as well, especially visiting a location I've never been to, is like, what did the atmosphere feel like? What did it feel like being in? I'm a feelings traveler. I'm sorry.
Right.
I go with an intention, a plan, but I come back with an essence, a feeling. So if you can describe for us the feeling of the experience of Page, Arizona.
Complete awestruck. I mean, more times than not, I found myself, going, just think about how long it took to do this. Or imagine, look at this beauty, and will I ever see anything like this again?
Right.
You just come away with this appreciation of Mother Nature and all the creators that had their wonderful hands in creating this. And in the back of your mind you're going, I can't wait to share my pictures with people, but at the same time you're going, but it's not going to capture the essence and the beauty of what I saw.
Absolutely.
I mean, these are definitely natural eye phenomenons to see. But yeah, it was just awestruck. And then as you learn about some of the Navajo and some of the Native American things, and then you realize there's a lot of different people that do a lot of different things, but ultimately we're pretty much the same.
Pretty much the same.
Everybody has something that's sacred to them.
Right.
Absolutely. So awestruck would be how I would describe the feeling.
I love that. Who doesn't want to go on a vacation that leaves them awestruck?
Right.
Now, I have no qualms about visiting a fancy hotel for the weekend or anything like that, but the most awestruck you're going to be there is seeing a nice chandelier or having a juicy steak. That would soon be forgettable. To visit somewhere like Page, Arizona, where you have the magnificence of everything that Connie has described, that has been created for your ultimate pleasure in the end of time, for us to smell, see, experience. It's an incredible experience.
It really is.
I can feel the energy, and I cannot wait to go there. I cannot wait. So I'm getting all my information logged up in here and trying to figure out when is the best time for me. Okay. Thank you for that, Connie. So a couple more questions. Is there anything else that we must know about Page, Arizona?
Know that while there's a lot of things in Page, Arizona to do, if you want a longer trip, there are numerous things around, close by, within driving distance. If you're flying, into Las Vegas and driving in, there's a lot of things that you pass along the way, so, you road trip. You can definitely make this a longer destination, maybe you want to drop by the Grand Canyon on your way in. So while there's a lot to do in Page, if someone's looking for something longer, there's things there to do.
Absolutely.
You will probably find more things to do than you potentially have time to do. I would suggest, we decide what are our must-see items. For me, when I travel, we always have a list of our must-see. And when we go to a place, we go as if we're never going to go back there again. So we have our must-see, and then we have our backup list. So if we have more time or a must-see didn't work out, we already have something planned to replace it with.
Gotcha. I love that. Absolutely love that. Okay, so why visit Page, Arizona now?
It's beautiful. it's indescribable. It's outside in our environment right now. A lot of people are more comfortable with being outside than
Absolutely.
inside. This is outside. This is fresh air. This is the grandeur of the beauty and the wonderment of the world. And Page, Arizona is, you know, I would like to say it's not going anywhere, but right now in today's world with the shortages of water and things like that, you know, let's go see the Colorado River while it's still flowing.
Right.
Let's go see it while we have somebody to take us and show us the beauty and the wonder of it, you know, so that we can still experience all those things.
Absolutely. I love that. Well, thank you. Y'all still hanging in there with us? We appreciate you, definitely. So lastly, we're just going to wrap up a little bit. We understand why visiting now is important and the beauty and stunningness of Page, Arizona. So if you had to rank Page, Arizona, 10 of course being best, 0 we kind of know, y'all.
Right.
Where would you rank it?
If I were just doing it on a ranking of 1 to 10 and not comparing it to any other place I've been, I would put Page, Arizona like at an 8.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
Just because of all the natural beauty. This is natural beauty. This isn't man-made beauty.
This is bucket list travel.
Yes.
Yes, bucket list, definitely. And we hate to say bucket list, just what you want to do, where you want to see list. So we'll say that. Okay, so if you have anything else you want to say about Page, let us know. But I want to know, if I'm looking to go to Page, Arizona, and I want to experience what you've experienced, the way you've kind of experienced, how do I book you?
You can subscribe.
Okay.
And then you can also, we'll put all the details and the links to the website below.
Awesome.
So feel free to reach out and we'll get you plenty of information and give you all the assistance that you need.
Awesome. Page, Arizona, y'all. Make it a top priority to get there. It is definitely one of the top 10.
Absolutely.
Connie's number 8, not in that order, but 8 ranking. That is a great score out of 10. Connie, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Until next time.
We'll see you on the next adventure.
Thank you all.
Bye.
Enjoy.